Da! Another piece of Brunswick's armor. And another clue. Lord be with you.
It's a nice place to rest when you're passing by in the summer. The only bit of shade, far and wide.
What? Hail, Pilgrim. If it's good company you're after, that's one thing we're never short of.
Can't say no to that. Good hunting.
Yeah. Thanks.
I know a good trophy when I see one. That young boar. And the deer over there. How many summers has that one seen?
That one? Well, I've been after him for 4 years now, lad. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed you know so much about hunting.
I was blessed with a good teacher. I hunted with my lord in the woods of Sasau.
I don't know him, but you say along the river Sasso? Woods that way must be thick, huh?
Our woods are lush and thick, to be sure, but they're becoming overrun with pests.
What kind? Not foxes. Pain in the bloody neck, they are.
Yeah, something like that. The ginger fox Sigismund and his cumans. They were plundering the countryside, so I had to give a few of them what for. How are things with the deer around here? Back home, they bleat like mad.
That'll be your woods. The nights are chillier your way. The rutting's weaker here. Not to mention, we have grain fields as far as the eye can see. You know how it is, though.
What about the boar here? Do they cause a lot of damage? We can't get them out of our fields in summer.
God, yeah. I'm between a rock and a hard place. The farmers grumble, but the lords insist on their game for the winter hunts. There's no end to it.
I'm afraid I must be going. Good hunting, gamekeeper.
Thank you, lad.
Certainly. Have no fear.
What kind of pig was sitting here?
Look out!
You're having problems with the Zheliovites?
Not just me, my friend. They're the biggest bastards around. They've been nothing but trouble for years. The winter before last, they piled snow in front of everyone's doors at night, so no one could get out of their house. And last year, they broke into my cellar and pissed in my beer barrel.
Gracious. I hope you got your aim back on them.
Not yet, no. But since you're here, I've got a plan you could help me out with. I'd pay you well. You can count on that.
What exactly would you like me to do?
Don't worry. I won't make you do any shoveling or pissing anything. But I'll tell you exactly what I have in mind, only after you promise to help me. I'd hate to reveal my plan, only for you to go off and tell the Zheliovites right away.
Well, if you've got it all figured out, why don't you do it yourself?
Right. And who's going to run the inn in the meantime, eh? Besides, everyone in Zheliov knows us. If someone from here shows up there, they'll get suspicious.
All right. I'll help you.
Listen up then. Old Olbram, the owner of the biggest plot of land in Zheliov, has this beautiful bull. White as snow he is. The finest animal far and wide. Obviously, he's very proud of it. Very protective, too. Now I mean you, will give his beautiful snow-white bull a nice new coat of paint. Albram is going to lose his mind. Simple, right?
Painting a bull, eh? That sounds like fun.
Right. We just have to work out a few details. First, we have to get some paint. I don't reckon we'll be able to get any here in the village, but you can try and ask Bartoszek, the tailor in Trotskovitz. I hear he dyes his own fabric. And after that, we'll have to make sure the bull stays still while you're painting it. Try asking Radovan, the local blacksmith. I hear he can make some kind of sleeping potion. If you pour it in the bull's water trough, I'm sure it'll do the trick. But watch out. That beast is enormous. You'd better put at least 3 doses of the potion in there.
I don't think so.
All right, then. Albram's bull will be getting a new coat of paint.
Albram's going to lose his mind. I can't wait. And remember, it's supposed to be a joke. If you get caught or something goes wrong, the whole thing will be ruined.
Right. So I need paint, sleeping potions, and to not get caught. Why do you and the Zhelyov lot hate each other so much, anyway?
It's their fault. They keep playing tricks on us. Albram's the worst of them all. The nasty old codger. He's always coming up with ways to mess with us. He's the one that stole our pasture.
What pasture did they steal from you?
The one that stretches from the orchard behind the Takov down to the gamekeeper's lodge. It's been ours since time immemorial, but the Zhelyevites took it from us.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's a tree down by the gamekeeper's lodge that marks the edge of our land. My father, God rest his soul, was there when they agreed on it. He got a proper ass kicking so he'd remember it, and remember it he did. But then fucking Albram came along, claiming it was the other way around, and that pasture belonged to Zhelyov.
Well, can't you all just reach some kind of agreement?
Do you think we haven't tried? But there's no talking to the Zhelyevites. Year after year we meet in that pasture. I tell it like it was, but Albram always starts spewing his lies. Then we end up arguing until the sun sets. And when the Zhelyevites are at wit's end, they come at us, and nothing ever gets solved. We managed to convince them to at least give us back half the pasture. But I know the whole bloody thing belongs to us. We can't just leave things like this.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's a tree down by the gamekeeper's lodge that marks the edge of our land. My father, God rest his soul, was there when they agreed on it. He got a proper ass kicking so he'd remember it, and remember it he did. But then fucking Albram came along, claiming it was the other way around, and that pasture belonged to Zhelyov.
Well, that's a tough nut to crack. Have you tried asking Lord von Burgov for help?
Of course, but he'd have none of it. He said it's up to the Trotskovitz bailiff to sort it out. But the bailiff couldn't care less. He said we should deal with Albram ourselves, or he'll have us caned and clapped in the pillory. What would you like, friend?
You'll see.
What's new around here?
Vostotek. Lord von Beregov's huntsman is a regular here. He might have some work for you. He's got a cottage near Vidlak Pond. So if you know your way around the woods, you could go and offer him your help. I hope he hasn't started drinking somewhere else. He's my best customer. You could also stop by and see Old Mouth. He's the local storyteller. He could tell you all sorts of interesting things, but only if you bring him some liquor. Don't forget, I have some here to sell, if you want. And that's all I'd say.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, innkeeper.
You've no business here. I never want to see you here again without permission.
I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Project said you might know something.
Well, it's true. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away.
Well, I don't want it just for the sake of it. I need to use it against the Zhelyov lot.
So, Project and Olbram are at it again. Blockheads, both of them. And the place was just getting really nice and quiet lately. Well, what the hell. Maybe if I help you out, they'll start trading punches sooner and get it all over with. Pay up, and I'll tell you the secret.
Thank you.
So, did you want to make a deal or not?
All right. Well, I'll manage without your help. I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last 2 hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. What do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Go over to the anvil and let's get started. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up bit by bit. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. But you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. Henry, stop gaping into the fire like a fortune teller and heat it up. The whole thing is heated up now. So come over to the anvil. Hear that? Besides the sparks, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. Well struck. Sparks. That's the stuff. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly, and the iron feels it.
How do I know a good strike from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up. And by the ring. It rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
What's the right way to heat up the workpiece?
Do it till it turns the color of straw. Ideally, the color should be the same everywhere, if your forging's going to be even. The main thing is, don't work it cold. You just ruin it. But don't overheat it either. As soon as sparks start to fly off it in the furnace, take it out.
Why should I forge evenly?
If you keep hammering the same spot, you'll never finish it. You'll just fuck it up. But jumping from one end to the other ain't a good idea neither. You'd end up working unevenly. The best thing to do is aim each strike next to the one before.
How will I know it's finished?
Notice the shape. The closer you are to finishing, the more precise the shape it will have.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. And they can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them. Though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
Good. That looks finished. What do you have for sale? Word about the price.
But of course. Very well, then. And a good day to you, friend. It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
Those two hands of yours, Venser and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long, but these days I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. Show me your wares.
Why are you wasting my time if you don't want anything then, eh? I'm sorry.
God bless.
Show me your wares. I'd like to do something about that price.
Sure. Why not? Aye, you'll convince me with that price. You're doing business. Take care.
Show me your wares.
Take care then. Thanks for nothing.
So this is where the merchant's wagon tipped over. Everything floating here must be his. Poor fella. That's bloody deep.
Hey, Hans!
Are you talking to me?
Who else? Gutenberg, the hangman's halter? You really don't remember? Back already, Hans? I thought you'd be gone a lot longer.
Do we know each other?
Of course. It's me, Joachim. We met in Gutenberg. We had that row about who had the right to a better pitch at the market. We nearly crossed swords at the cattle market in the morning. But come evening, we were getting boozed up together at the hangman's halter. You more than me, I reckon, seeing as you don't remember.
I'm not Hans. I'm Henry.
Yeah, right, Hans. And I'm King Sigismund.
Where is it exactly I'm supposed to be coming back from?
You said you were off to Germany to sell your wares. I gave you some trinkets to see if you have any luck hawking them for me there. Didn't you go in the end?
You're a trader, then?
Not quite, Hans. Just a plain old huckster, like yourself.
How's business?
It's been better. Luckily, there are still enough people in Gutenberg who aren't living hand to mouth, but they still chafe at the prices, even though I haven't put them up in years.
Where do you get the goods you sell in Kuttenberg?
Wherever I can, Hans. Wherever I can. Every now and then I meet a merchant on the road who's happy to trade with me. Other times I bump into a craftsman in some backwater who makes quality stuff that doesn't cost the earth. So I peddle my wares around the country.
I have to get going. So long.
See you later, Hans.
Yeah, right.
Will you help me, Henry?
Has something happened?
My daughter, Pavlena. Remember her? She was here when I was healing you two.
I remember. What's wrong with her?
She's missing. It's not like her to be wandering around like that. She goes to Troskovitz to sell baskets, but she knows I can't manage on my own, so she never stays away for long. These old eyes of mine can't see nothing much. Pavlena has to take care of me. She's a good girl, that lass of mine. I'm very worried about her. You understand? What if something's happened to her? God forbid. I can't look for her myself, but you could. I know I'm asking a lot of you, but I've no one else to turn to.
Do you think anyone might want to hurt Pavlena?
These are evil times, Henry. I dread to think what could happen to a young girl alone on the road. And besides, the folk in Troskovitz ain't too fond of us.
There's all sorts of folk around, and the roads can be dangerous. That's true enough.
It's folk that are dangerous, lad.
Where exactly was Pavlena going?
To Troskovitz. She was taking wicker baskets she'd made. She sells them there and uses the coin to buy what we need. Sometimes it takes her a while, but this time she said she'd be right back. I have a bad feeling about this.
Did it occur to you she might have run off? She's a young girl. And pretty. What kind of life does she have here in the woods? Maybe she wanted to live a little.
You don't know Pavlena. She's not like that. If she wanted to live a little, she'd tell me straight out. She doesn't keep things from me. Don't imagine I keep her here against her will, or that I don't know what it means to be young.
Pavlena is young and, well, no offence, but you seem a little old to be her mother. Is she really your daughter?
She is. Not by birth, but that doesn't change anything. Her mother died in childbirth, and there was no one but me to take care of her.
And who was Pavlena's birth mother?
A girl from the charcoal burners. They left the county, and I think she had no one else. I buried her myself. No one came for her.
And do you know anything about Pavlena's father?
I don't know who he was. Pavlena's mother was very young, and the fella surely abandoned her when her belly grew. She never told me nothing about him.
Well, as a midwife, I'm sure you've seen it often. Well, that the mother doesn't survive childbirth.
All too often, lad. But that's the lot of women. Or is it any different where you're from?
No, it's not. True enough.
See then? Now, can we just keep our minds on Pavlena?
All right, good wife. I'll try to find Pavlena for you.
Thank you, Henry. Like I said, she was heading for Troskovitz. You should start looking there.
All right. I'll ask around there for her.
And maybe you could look in her room in the loft. My old legs ain't up to climbing stairs, but you might find some clues there.
So, Pavlena, what have you left for me?
Hey, this is a boy's cap. Does Pavlena wear it?
Or did someone leave it here? She's got unfinished work here.
Like she got up and went straight out.
Christ, pardon.
I had a look in Pavlena's place in the loft.
And? Did you find anything?
I found a cap there. A man's cap. I don't suppose Pavlena would wear something like that.
You're saying she had some young man here? I'd surely have noticed.
I don't know, good wife. I'm just saying what I found.
Could she have found herself a beau in Troskovitz?
She's got unfinished work there. She weaves baskets.
Aye, she usually has a few on the go, but she took them to the market in Troskovitz. We've got nothing here but what we make ourselves, or find in the woods. Pavlena weaves baskets very nicely. Folk buy them from her. Take care.
turret and a...
About time. I'm glad you came. I was starting.
Fuck you, Horsan.
Show your stuff.
You've no chance against me!
Shut up!
You're a dead man! You know that?
Cut the bullshit and fight!
Show your stuff!
You fight like an old hag!
Didn't see that coming, eh?
So, Pavlena, what have you left for me? Like she got up and went straight out. She's got unfinished work here. Hey, this is a boy's cap. Does Pavlena wear it? Or did someone leave it here? I had a...
And
I found...
your side
I don't know.
could.
She's...
We've got of It was good to see you, my friend.
this? Are you following me?
Cut it off! Go to hell! What do you want?
I'll rip
Show
your
what
ass
you're
open.
made of!
You can't take me!
Now you're finished. Slice it!
So, Pavlena, what have you left for me? Like she got up and went straight out. Hey, this is a boy's cap. Does Pavlena wear it? Or did someone leave it here? I had a...
And
I
yours,
I don't...
could.
She's...
Hi, we've got a vle. Take care.
Good day?
Your money or your life? Stop! You fucker!
I'm all yours!
Christ! Shit! Show what you're made of.
I'm all yours!
I'm hit!
You're a dead man! You know that? Didn't see that coming, eh? You wanna try me? Rip your ass open!
Show what you're made of. You're no match for us, fucker.
Show your stuff!
Show what you're made of.